Nerdrotic.com.
Try that again. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my nooner? Hi, friends. Today's word of the day is abhorrent. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Not feeling 100% today. That's why it's late. But the show must go on. The show must go on, so I'll power through it. Was up very late last night. The Inquisition went really long, and I worked a little bit on my Batwoman review, which will be out this evening, tomorrow morning, and a Star Wars video. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to continue the conversation. I know a lot of people are probably sick of it, but we actually can't let this one die in the news cycle, in my opinion. And, you know, some people might not have watched all of our live streams. I know, I can't believe it that you didn't watch Friday Night Tights or The Inquisition, but you might not have, and that's fine. Friday Night Tights is over on Nerdrotic Live if you want to see it later. Not much has changed. Gina Carano was still either fired or didn't want to bend the knee or quit. I don't know what happened there. I'm sure Disney really wanted to get rid of her at this point. We have also heard that she found out when we found out, which is that much more cowardly. Like, they didn't even bother to tell her beforehand. So I'm assuming that meant she found out through the news. I don't know that definitively, but that news came from Drunk 3PO. Exclusively. Let's make sure we credit people when they do break news. And yeah, I'm not surprised that Disney did things that cowardly, that knee-jerk. They took the path of least resistance. None of her co-stars have come out in her defense. Now, it is interesting that Pedro took the role of Joel in The Last of Us. So I'm guessing that, and apparently that show is taking priority. So he's probably just a voice actor for The Mandalorian at this point. And maybe the whole mask, wanting to take off the Mandalorian helmet kerfuffle was true. I don't know. I have no insiders on this. And all I know, it's a giant PR disaster for Disney. And they just are a house incompetent. Are they a house divided? I don't really think so. I know some people still think that. And again, I don't know. Some people are going to know better than I do. But I'm just going based on what I've seen out in the real world. And by the way, if you, other people have mentioned this, but if you try to explain why Gina Carano got fired to somebody out in real life who doesn't spend that much time or any time on Twitter, to a man and woman, they go, huh? What? Really? And it doesn't matter what their politics are, because, you know, normal working people, everyday people who don't spend all day on Twitter trying to get rid of people don't think like that. They don't have a mindset like that. And that's what that's where the danger lies. Disney validating cancel culture and then piling on, running the bus over, Gina Carano and trying to end her career, blacklisting her by all accounts, is abhorrent. A giant corporation shouldn't act like that, especially one with a lot of skeletons in their closet. And we're aware of a lot of them. Think about the ones we're not aware of. And this is their ultimate failure. You know, Disney is an entertainment company. They're supposed to be family friendly, and they are the most evil company in Hollywood. Yet they want you to bring your little kitties to the happiest place on earth and come see our movies where we remake our animated features with other animated features. And think about it. What's Disney without the properties they purchased recently in the last 15 years? What's original Disney? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that only lasts so long. So they bought their way in. Meaning they didn't obviously start Star Wars. They didn't start the MCU. They didn't start Pixar. Now they've done pretty well with Pixar, but I'd say Pixar's kind of seen its better days. You know, had a good run. It's still some quality work. There's some very talented people there, but they got rid of Lasseter, and that's a huge loss. And you know, I'm not going to come out and say Star Wars is dead to me personally. I'm not going to say that Star Wars is dead and people aren't going to go back and watch it. And, you know, if Favreau keeps making Star Wars that isn't filled with identity politics and it just ends up being a bunch of member berries, basically just replicating what they're doing with The Mandalorian, they're going to motor along probably just fine. But will they hit the stratosphere again? We discussed that last night. Will they have the billion-dollar motion picture again outside of going back to the past? And I don't think so. I don't think anything that Disney is going to create that's new, like their Dr. Aphra or anything like that, is going to do anything in the movie theaters. I don't think anything from the High Republic is going to do anything in the theaters. With the current crop of talent that they have there outside of Jon Favreau and what's working on The Mandalorian, which wasn't supposed to be the focal point, which is now. The only Mandalorian merchandise is selling. It really did pull in a lot of normies. That's vital to having, you know, a massively popular in the stratosphere franchise. Will they make the climax to the Mandalorian, you know, with the Ahsoka Tano show and the Boba Fett show and the Rangers of the New Republic, is that going to all end up in a film somewhere? That's a possibility. I think that's a possibility where it would be successful. Other than that, outside of a Darth Vader movie, I can't see anything hitting $1 billion. And we've talked about that before, unless they remake the original trilogy, which I absolutely believe they'll do someday. I don't know when, but, you know, I think they will absolutely do it someday. And I don't care about any of it. I don't care. I'll cover the news because, again, the drama outside of Disney Star Wars is far more interesting than anything they put on screen or in a comic book or in a book. The Let's Get High Republic is not a success. It's not going to take them anywhere. And I hate to break it to all of the companies with publishers. These cross-publishing events are never going to work. They're only playing to your hardcore fans who will take time to go down your checklists and go down the rabbit hole of, I gotta listen to an audio venture here and play a VR game here and buy a book here and then get a comic book. And then there's multiple books, right? By multiple publishers. And I just, and this was all conceived after the Disney trilogy. Imagine if The Mandalorian wasn't a hit, how trash it would have been. So we've got a 2-year break. The Mandalorian is going to be a completely different show now, unless they bring back Baby Yoda, which is certainly a possibility. Pedro's got another show that he's focusing on, and the unintended second most popular character in your show, and quite frankly, your number one fan ambassador is now gone, Gina Carano. And that's what she was. She was an ambassador to a fandom that you had lost. And instead of doing what you did with everyone else, completely ignoring what she said and did and reposted on social media, you drove the bus over her. Massive mistake on the level of The Last Jedi. That's why I said in my video, it's The Last Jedi Part 2. This will not be forgotten by a large portion of the fan base. Everybody? No, of course not. Like I said before, there's going to be a lot of consumers that are going to go back. And listen, it's a personal decision. I'm not going to shame anybody for, enjoying Star Wars. If you're still disgusted by this, but it's like, hey, I'm going to enjoy Star Wars, go ahead. It's fine. The reason I'm not is I just knew what Disney Star Wars was. I don't think they have changed. I have heard all the rumors. I have read all the stories. I know what's going on. A lot of my friends have talked about these rumors, and I haven't seen any evidence at all, any hardcore evidence of a house divided. I think we can speculate based on what the Mandalorian has done. The return of Luke Skywalker goes directly against whatever they were trying to push in The Last Jedi. But that's it. I haven't seen anything else. I haven't heard an interview going, yeah, I really hated The Last Jedi. I know Mark Hamill did. I know there's rumors that Jon Favreau did, and I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Jon Favreau seems to be a fan of quality, and The Last Jedi is not quality. But yet he is silent on this. And I have made my feelings clear. Jon Favreau's a millionaire. He doesn't need this job. He can go off into the sunset. Is he afraid to piss off Disney? I could see that. Yeah, I could see him being afraid to piss off Disney, and it might affect future work. Disney obviously seems to be that petty. They fired Gina Carano in the middle of a charity stream for her charity to fight human trafficking. That raised over $40,000 thanks to Drunk 3PO and Star Wars Theory and Jeremy and others. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, they're petty. They're petty. They dropped this news at night, right, in the evening before at least here around these parts, it's probably not for most of you guys because we, here in California, in San Francisco, especially, the Lunar New Year is a holiday. So it's a 4-day weekend. So this is President's Day today, and they were hoping the news cycle would die down by today. And Twitter has done its part to stamp down cancel Disney Plus. I kind of wish we could have kept that trending for at least another day. But we got it trending for a few hours, and that was the whole point of it, was to get it trending, was to embarrass Disney. None of us ever thought it was actually going to stick or hurt them. But embarrass them a little bit. They should be embarrassed. They embarrass themselves. And this is where the whole narrative of putting this on us, the fans, the quote unquote toxic fans, we are simply reacting to your bullshit. We see through your bullshit. We see through all the divisive crap that you've put out there within the narrative and outside. A lot of these access media sites are all owned by the same fucking company. I think it's like a few companies own them all. And they're all in lockstep. So this is how they get the information out there. They have plausible deniability. Is that what it is? And they can say, no, it was just a leaker. It was just a leaker, which maybe it was, but they haven't made a statement since then. And, just on a human level, imagine how that feels if you're Gina Carano, if you're like, you have this giant monolith of a corporation bearing down on you. You have corporate simps bearing down on you. You have anonymous anime avatars bearing down on you. And then all of your co-stars who were showing support for you before, not saying a word. Yet the Star Wars website wants to go back up Christine Ariel after she made racist tweets for over a year and they wouldn't defend Gina Carano, who has been called horrific things for over a year. She made an analogy. She wouldn't use her she wouldn't bend the knee to the pronouners. So she had to go because she broke the narrative. Anything that breaks the narrative has to go. So get in line or not. And a lot of you haven't, and that's good. I was enjoying WandaVision. WandaVision isn't great. It's actually getting worse, and I mean that, like, I'm not spiteful to WandaVision for what happened to Star Wars, but my enthusiasm has been affected. But whether the Gina Carano thing happened or not, I would feel the same way I do about the last episode, which was predictable, and half of it is starting to get annoying, which is a damn shame because Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are great. They're great in that show, but it's everything outside of that that's not so good. But it is affecting it. And, Marvel's got really nothing to do with it other than they are owned by Disney and they are going down the same path. And I don't know if the Gina Carano thing affected the show. I think nothing happening in the show affected that. There was nothing really to talk about. But as far as Disney Star Wars is concerned, I could live without watching Boba Fett. I could live without reviewing Boba Fett. As a matter of fact, I didn't really review The Mandalorian season 2 at all. I did it on live channel, just live reviews. I had a video about 3/4 of the way done. Have no interest in finishing it now. I don't care. I will say that I think a lot of people, and I will include myself in this, because it looked like at the time that Disney Star Wars was turning things around within the narrative, I think we were treating the Mandalorian with kid gloves, right? I think we were being like, hey, they're turning things around. It's not perfect, but we don't want to sound like that we're just out to shit on everything if they're actually making an effort to turn things around. And that still might be the case with, they still like, hey, we're going to remove identity politics and we're just going to make Star Wars now. Doesn't matter. There's all the rumors of erasing or retconning or whatever. Doesn't matter. Don't care. They can do it, and I don't care. I was hoping it would happen. I never thought it would. Now I know it won't. It's very clear what the direction is. That is, you can still think that I'm sure there's drama. There's drama behind everything, guys, in Hollywood. There's headbutting and everything with Hollywood. But it doesn't matter because their path is clear. It is an absolute clear path where they're going to go. They're going to fart around in between the Disney trilogy and the original trilogy. They will tell a story that's exclusive to that time. They are going to fight Grand Admiral Thrawn at the end, and it will lead to the Disney trilogy. That's what's going to fucking happen. Mike Zero is killing it right now. I was talking to Az, and Az is like, yeah, Mike Zero is killing it right now. I'm all, really? And he is. And God bless Mike Zero. Really. I have no problem. I understand that if you go there for kind of the laughs, right? You don't seriously think that any of that stuff is going to happen. But, a broken clock is right twice a day. But by all means, I have no problem with what he does. He does what he does. I am an adult. I understand. If I go watch one of his videos, I understand what kind of information I'm getting. But nothing's going to change. And is this a black pill with Disney Star Wars? They took the black pill. They black pilled a lot of fans. So if they do turn things around and they stop attacking fans and quite frankly fire some people who have attacked fans, I might think differently. But obviously, they are a bigoted organization when it comes to ideology. You have to have a certain ideology or you can't work there. So it's the 1950s just flipped. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just the 1950s again, depending on your perspective. Because it turns out, there's the what happened in the 50s, the Red Scare, very complex issue. Very complex issue. There is certainly, let's say, Patrick Stewart's side of the argument and other actors' side of the argument. Then there's the facts that I encourage that you look into. Razorfist has done a couple of brilliant videos on the subject that are eye-opening if you didn't know what was going down. But, as far as, honestly, I'm not a Star Wars channel. I used to be a massive, massive Star Wars fan, George Lucas fan. Lived and breathed it for a large portion of my life. But, it's a big, wide world out there, and there's a lot of stuff we can cover that's not Star Wars. And again, there hasn't been, if there was good news, I would certainly report it. And I'm not going to just shit on a show because I'm pissed at them and I'm not a fan. It's not what I'm about. If a show's, decent, I'll tell you. Is it helping? Probably. Probably not. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that influential on people. But I'm going to continue doing what I do, but my focus has never been Star Wars, and it won't be. But I'll certainly talk about it when it's like this. And I was pretty clear when I was reviewing The Mandalorian. I said, I'm watching this for Gina Carano. What she has done on Twitter, I admired her chutzpah, her spine. So I'm going to review the show, and I still feel the same way about it. It's a very average live action cartoon. The music has gotten better, but it's still not Star Wars. And it's the closest thing Disney will probably ever make to what you think is Star Wars. But Star Wars died in 2012. And they're going to go in and fuck up the EU now. So they're going to piss off more hardcore fans. The ones who are even still around. I think a lot of EU fans just gave up and they're just enjoying their EU. And good for them. Good for them. Yeah, it's disgusting that Disney has taken something that was fun and innocent. You go and watch like one of those old, you can go on YouTube, watch one of those old Star Wars, toy Kenner ads, just takes you back. And they've pissed all over that. And they've turned it into a platform. Are you interested in supporting a platform? The platform of Star Wars that wants to push an ideology through George Lucas's world that was built, quite frankly, by a lot of other people besides George Lucas. A lot of those EU authors, comic book writers, Gary Kurtz, Lawrence Kasdan. A lot of people helped build that world. And none of them work at Disney Star Wars. Now we have, what's her name? Javicia Leslie, right? Did I get that right? No, that's fucking from Batwoman. See, I'm tired, dude. Not Javicia Leslie. Justina Ireland. Justina Ireland and Christina Ariel. Yeah, I had to turn off my Batwoman because I was working on the video before this. But like I said, not 100% today. Now, these aren't people I even care to support at all. And it was kind of fun seeing, watching people love Luke Skywalker come back. Again, I didn't feel anything. But I didn't think they would fuck up this hard, this quick. I knew they would, but not in under 2 months. The goodwill didn't even last 2 fucking months. And some would argue it didn't last a week. It didn't last a week. So I feel bad for Gina. I know she probably doesn't feel that great right now, but she's got a ton of support. And, they're going to make her more popular than ever. And obviously, I think it's a good move. I think her career I don't know what her expectations were, right? As far as having a career in Hollywood. My guess, she would have been, cast as some superheroes in the future, been in some action flicks, But her career is now on a completely different path where she can make a lot more money, right? Actors make pretty decent money, but it's movie to movie. And now she's her own brand. She's not attached to any other brand. She is the brand of Gina Carano, which is sky's the limit on that. Sky's the limit. She can do whatever and now she looks like a Hollywood. She is a Hollywood rebel. People like Pedro. I love how they think they're outsiders. They are conformists, like the worst kind of conformists. I'm afraid to lose my job pretending. Hollywood used to be filled with people like Gina Carano. But since Hollywood has gotten corporate, everybody has gotten in line. The era of the movie star is over. And the era of the blockbuster film might be over. And they're going through a huge change right now that they were forced into that Hollywood was not ready for at all. And remember, it's about illusion. And things are not great in that town. You cannot tell me things are okay in Hollywood when they're not making those billions of dollars every other weekend with their blockbusters that are sitting on a shelf collecting dust. And it's not like you can release a movie that was made 3 years ago and just think it'll act like a brand new release. I think there's going to be a stale factor, and I think that's going to be very interesting. The New Mutants got pushed around forever, and that thing was, and they reshot it to hell. And what happened? It ended up being just as much of a flop as it would have been if they released it 2 years ago. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think Hollywood's getting stale. Gina Carano, sky's the limit. It might not feel like it now, but she's free. She's free from the conformists. She's free from having to go through, sit through douchey Hollywood parties and listen to some empty-headed adult pretender talk about the environment while they own 5 houses and fly everywhere when they don't need to. A bunch of fucking hypocrites. They'll complain about immigration, but have 5 houses and not house anybody, which you certainly could. So, yeah. I mean, she's stuck with us plebs. Sorry, Gina. You won't, and she probably still will, but I don't know. The douchey Hollywood parties sound like the 7th layer to hell to me. I've been to a couple. I went to the E Channel Christmas party in 2012 with my friend John, and thanks, John, again for inviting me. I had a good time, and I talked to the caterer for the whole party. I walked through, and the guy who used to host Talk Soup, who was in Spider-Man 2 as the banker that Aunt May kicked. I'm forgetting his name, Joel, or I can't remember his name. The woman who used to host the news show back in 2012, he grabbed her ass at the party. I saw that. She laughed. She'll probably come out and try to cancel him now for doing that. That's the only thing I saw, and I ate some of the food, and it was like all seafood, so I couldn't stand it. So I went back to the caterer, and I'm like, "Do you got like bread or something? I'm starving, and it's all seafood out there." And she brought me out some bread, and we just sat there and chatted about how douchey everybody was. I didn't talk to anybody. Yeah, I hated it. But I liked going, I got to say I got to go. Now we got a new system here, right? We got the Streamlabs. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's not entirely working for me, but I think I've got this. Eventually will be great. For the nice, well-spoken beard man, says a scapegoat, donated $5. Thank you. I'm not that well-spoken. Really. Like I said, I'm about 80% today. Did not sleep very well last night, but I had a good time on the Inquisition. Watched Batwoman. I'm not gonna talk about it in the live stream. Just saving it for the review. It was bad. It was horrible. We will talk. The ratings went down to 500,000 because they took that break for Super Bowl. So they lost 200,000 viewers from the last episode. And I do believe the 18 to 49 went down a bit. And it's going to continue to go down. By the time we get to the end of the season, it'll be at 325,000. That's pretty bad. The Equalizer dropped from 20 million to 7 million, and it'll probably drop to like 4 million. I don't know if that's good or not anymore. I don't watch or pay attention to broadcast television. 20 million is damn good. That's damn good. I think 7 and 8 million is still pretty good for Queen Latifah's Equalizer. And it just, I mean, you know, people put glue in their hair. People put Gorilla Glue in their hair and vote in this country and watch the Equalizer. So I'm not surprised about any of this. They view us as consumers for their platforms when we should be customers for the products they create. The amount of genuine creatives in that space is dwindling. It is. Josiah Finch, by the way, that was a scapegoat who donated previous, and it's Josiah Finch. Yes, there's still very good people in Hollywood, and it is time, very good people in Hollywood, for you to speak up. It is time for you to, I don't know, find each other, organize, and speak up so they can't pluck you out, because I keep hearing there's a bunch of you. I believe it was Matthew Kadish, who said on Twitter that when he was in Hollywood that he's a conservative, and they had to have a secret meeting with other conservatives. That's believable. Now, when I was at Technicolor, it was a mixed bag, but nobody was afraid to talk about stuff. You know, I was an independent. I worked with a couple of guys who were conservatives and a couple of guys who were liberal, and they get like little fights, but nothing big. That was 2011. I think it's much worse now, especially at the top, right? But like I said last night, I'm trying to save my job, man. Well, for one, do you want to work in a place where you're not free to, of course you have to act, you have to behave at work. I understand that. But to not give a basic opinion about something, you're afraid to give just a harmless, like, I'm not for universal health care or something like that. Yeah. And then you'll just get labeled a Yahtzee for saying that. That's a hostile work environment. I wouldn't want to work there. Yeah. Unless, that's what Gina was. Gina was making it safe for other people to speak up. But now, because they have that scalp, everybody's going to shut up. They just validated cancel culture. They just crushed discourse. And they don't think, that the pendulum is going to swing someday, and that's going to happen to you, because it's guaranteed it's going to happen to you. We're already seeing the system rid themselves of some useless idiots that they never had any intention. I don't mean to get too political, but I'll just bring up one thing. The city of Minneapolis. The city of Minneapolis wanted to defund the police. I think defunding the police is tarded. Is the work of imbeciles. The simpletons believe you should defund the police. So Minneapolis did it by cutting $8 million, and they just refunded the police with $6.4 million because the crime had gotten insane in Minneapolis. Same thing was happening in SF. That's why SF said they were going to defund the police and never really did, because they were never really gonna. Because you can't. People like to feel safe, but it's too late. People are kind of done with that. So with Disney, now you're only going to attract there's people who are not going to work there, just automatically not going to work there. So you have now cut out a large portion of the talent pool who will probably want to go somewhere else. And don't think, even people who disagreed with Gina Carano saw what happened to her and go, I don't know if I want to work at Disney now. You know, now if they get a better offer from somebody else, yeah. You know, Disney apparently wanted Jar Jar to stay. He didn't. I wish he had and not gone over to, he hasn't fucked up the DC universe yet, but he, you know, give him time. Give him time. I mean, that $500 million deal for Jar Jar is kind of old now. I'm surprised he hasn't. I wonder what's taken him so long to do. Well, I mean, there's the coof, but I don't even think anything is in production or started because they can produce shit now. But everything costs a lot more. And that's affecting the BBC as well. Ryan's Tiny Johnson donated $5 and says, hail to you, Ryan's Tiny Johnson. Rianne's Tiny Johnson. That's not our Ryan, it's Rianne Johnson. Icanillis donated, didn't have Disney Plus, used family member's account, but I did cancel my Star Wars Hot Toys and won't buy any of those or Marvel ones new anymore. Thank you. That's how we can do this. You just, I mean, Disney owns a lot of shit. I'm not even aware of everything they own. I'm not. They own Hulu, which I'm sure, you know, that's the number 3 streaming service, I think, right? I think a lot of people use Hulu. The Orville's on Hulu. You know, yeah. So what I'll do is I cancel Hulu until the Orville's on, and I'm going to watch the Orville. Disney Plus, I canceled. And, but the way I get around it is somebody is sharing a password with me. I'll just come out and say it. Somebody's sharing a password with me from a Verizon account. So thank you. And that's how I'm going to watch it, but I'm not giving them any money. But where it really hurts is, I'm a collector. I'm a toy collector. I'm a comic book collector. I'm the kind of customer, I'm the hardcore customer that they count on, that they're losing. They're losing a lot of. So I would spend more money than the average person on stuff because I'm a collector. And now I don't buy anything directly. I buy it secondhand on eBay, or I live without it, or I send that money somewhere else, or I save it. And as far as their movies are concerned, you know, I don't review a lot of movies. I can honestly wait another day, find a way to get a free pass. I will say, Warner Brothers, I don't know if this is an accident or if it was because, I think it was because when I went to New York Comic Con, I went as press, but they offered me, I can get stuff early for reviews. I don't know how long I'll get. I said yes. I said yes. We'll see if it happens. They might hear one of my reviews and stop that. It depends. But yeah, a lot of people didn't have Disney Plus. A lot of people have it through Verizon. They did extend that Verizon, by the way. And they count that. But hey, 95 million subscribers is insane. Like that's like Netflix, Amazon level. That's really impressive. So for the corporate simps out there, go, you're never going to beat them. Never thought we'd beat them for a second. That's not my point. Make them bleed, make them hurt. And you start something. It's not a movement. You start their death by 1,000 paper cuts. Because with every corporation, with everything that you're into, there has to be a cool factor. Star Wars was always cool. Even when nerds liked it and the jocks were giving a shit for it, it was always cool. Always. It's always been cool until very recently. It's so far from cool now. I would be embarrassed to like Star Wars right now. I would be very embarrassed. And that's why I felt bad for genuine Star Wars channels out there who haven't gotten around in the shit, who just want to cover Star Wars and cover entertainment. Yeah, your comment sections are going to be a mess. They are. Because you're going to try to review something and people are going to go, F this show. F this show. And Disney did that. Disney did that. Gary, I think you have a better redemption arc than most characters today, going from being in prison and living under a bush to owning a successful comic store and equally successful YouTube channel. Why, thank you, Koshinsky. I appreciate that. I think everybody has a good redemption story out there. And you know what? Disney just fucked theirs up. They could have everybody loves a redemption story. I love a redemption story. It's like Robert Downey Jr.'s story is great. It's not redemption, but, Cobra Kai, watching those two actors get to be in the limelight again, William Zabka, that's fucking awesome, man. That's an American redemption story or back in the limelight. Not that they did anything wrong, but Robert Downey Jr. personifies the American dream. That guy fucked up 9 ways to Sunday, and they gave him another chance, and he did it through hard work. The dude actually did time, right? Robert Downey Jr. did time. And people love that shit. They eat it up. But there's no room for redemption now. Robert Downey Jr. would not have been redeemed. He would have been canceled now. And you got to ask yourself, do I want to work in Hollywood? Is this going to be a place I want to work? Are you going to bring top tier talent? Because with a certain amount of top tier talent comes a certain amount of neurotic behavior, manic behavior. Let's put it this way. If Robert De Niro or Al Pacino were working in their younger right now, they would be canceled the way they treated they used to scream at people on set. They used to be mean to people. They used to make assistants cry. Does that sound familiar? There's a lot of actors out there. Nick Nolte, James Cameron as a director. All your big time actors were famous assholes. Marlon Brando was a sick man. And if he wasn't acting, he would have been probably on the street. Great actor, total freak. Absolute freak. He would have been canceled. Now, does it make it, should you be yelling at people? Of course not. But with artistry comes that kind of behavior. Look at Twitter. Look at Twitter. So now that they're eating their own and they're all walking on eggshells, the entertainment's just going to get worse. People don't feel creatively free anymore. So you're going to get this processed, data-driven analysis bullshit. And you got to question, is scripted entertainment something that's going to last forever? Well, boxing was once the biggest sport in this country. It's not anymore. It's still around, but it's not the biggest sport. Baseball was America's pastime, an absolute passion for this country. It drove, baseball cards were fucking huge. Anything related to baseball was huge. And it's still around. It's popular, but it's nowhere near America's pastime anymore. Hockey had a moment in the sun in the 90s. For some reason, it got attached to fucking grunge, and hockey and basketball both got really, really immensely popular. Now, basketball was able to do something with it. Hockey wasn't. Hockey went back to being a niche sport that's pretty popular, very popular in Canada, and it's a sport. But it's not number one, or number two, or number three here in this country. Football, it's peaked, absolutely peaked. NFL had its day. I watched it grow up throughout my life and become the biggest sport in the world. It's still pretty popular, but the decline has started, and it didn't need to. But the minute they got political, they alienated a portion of their audience that they probably didn't intend to. Your everyday, hardworking mom and dad who take their kids to the games, who make new football fans. You alienated the family man and the family woman. Sure, there's a lot of single guys or, you know, a lot of people who agree with your politics who don't really procreate, who love the game, but you need the family man loving your game and making new little NFL fans. My dad indoctrinated me into, I did not want to go to these games when I was a kid. And he took me to every fucking game, every baseball game, every fucking basketball game, every football game. And I hated it until I was like 7 or 8. Then I started understanding the game, and then something clicked. I remember the game. It was a Chargers-Steelers game, and the Chargers beat the shit out of the world-famous Steelers, who had won, 3 Super Bowls at that point. Just fucking beat the crap out of them. And it clicked, and I started liking all the sports then. Absolutely clicked. Couldn't wait to go to every game. And I was stuck. And I was a huge baseball fan. Then the steroids thing happened. Didn't care. But yeah, now I'm no longer a fan. Without respect, we reject. They moved my team out of my city. I don't give a fuck anymore. I draw the line. I'm not going to sit there and be a consumer and be a little simp for Deep Thanos and follow him up to LA. And the same goes for Disney Star Wars. This was The Last Jedi was it for me. And this was confirmation I made the right decision. And I think this Gina Carano thing is the final line for a lot of people. And it's just going to keep chipping away. The damage they did, though, like I said earlier, was The Mandalorian was so popular, they could have really done something that would have brought them to the stratosphere again. They were on that path. Now they guaranteed that won't happen. It's just not going to happen. Is it going to be popular? Yes. Will it be one of the most popular streaming shows in the top 10? Absolutely. But will it be the most popular thing? Nope. Nope. Because without Baby Yoda, what do you got? Clone Wars stuff. Okay. Clone Wars isn't bad. I don't think much of it. But the Clone Wars, there's specific Clone Wars fans, right? But normies aren't going to go. They're not into that stuff. And I don't know if they'll be sold on it. Because what you'll be doing is importing lore instead of building your own. And I just, the Clone Wars has been out there. And again, it's been massively popular with Star Wars fans. I don't think a bunch of normies even know what it is, much less care about it, or knew what an Ahsoka Tano was. Remember, as popular as Star Wars is, the vast majority of this country doesn't watch it. It's big in our world, but in the real world, I watched that last movie. It was all right. I kind of forgot about it. That's your normal normie answer. Gary, I'm a true blue or red in my country, lefty. I don't agree with what Gina said, but what happened to her is ridiculous. These idiots don't realize how much they are hurting their own cause by silencing voices like this. Very upset. Thank you for speaking out, Cardwitch. I really appreciate that. And yes, they crossed the line. It is abhorrent what they did. You don't have to agree with what she said. She didn't even really say anything, right? So, because I don't think she posted on Instagram. Maybe she wrote that. I don't know if she wrote the text. Maybe she did. I have zero problem with the analogy. Words. It's just fucking words. You're not disrespecting the dead. You're not. She was making a dire warning A dire, dire warning. And again, agree with it or not, she doesn't deserve to be fired. And be consistent, okay? James Gunn's jokes sucked. I thought they were disgusting. And it's not jokes I would tell, but he's free to tell them. As long as it stays in the realm of jokes, you're absolutely free to tell them. I have a personal line. Some people might not. Comedy is comedy, and that's the way it should be. Don't think he should have been fired. Don't think Roseanne Barr should have been fired. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't fired, and he did something worse than Roseanne Barr. According to their rules, by the way. According to their rules. Okay, the Streamlab thing works nice. I hate the Google Kraken and its payment method. Here again, a small simp money from a longtime watcher. Thank you, a scapegoat. I like that name. Thank you, a scapegoat, for 607. Yeah. It's okay, man. I will dance. I dance. Somebody accused me of dancing for money. We all dance for money. We all have to abide by something. We all have to follow rules. You know, I don't want to get into, I don't want to speculate too much of what Gina's motivation was. I think she was trolling. I think she was absolutely trolling. And I think that she had other Yahtzee remarks in mind when she did this. And she went, okay, we'll see how I'm treated when I make an analogy like this. And it went down. I don't know if she expected it or not. Again, she found out when we did, folks. She found out when we did. Disney, you're scum. You're scum. Whoever made that decision, you're a low form of life. And I hope you get the help you need. And to her coward co-stars, you're cowards. You're absolute cowards. Don't walk around like you're something important. You are conformist. You are compromised, which will affect your creativity. You're a hired gun. You went to Hollywood to become an artist and to create art, and you are creating widget. You're getting paid a lot of money for it. That's good. But you got to sell your friends out. You got to backstab people. That's what, I mean, that's the ironic thing about entertainment that I found out very quickly, and I found very ugly when I worked there, is this is fun work. This isn't working in a salt mine or turning a wrench at an auto shop. This is fun work. This is why so many people want to work there, because you're being creative. It's supposed to be the place where everybody's happy, and it's the place where people are the most unhappy and willing to fuck each other over left and right. There are no friends in Hollywood. There's strategic friends. Now, you know, and when you get caught up in that game, I mean, Robert Meyer Burnett found that out, didn't he? I mean, Robert Meyer Burnett's a creative. He comes from a creative perspective, and I respect the hell out of him. But he always said, we're not all this bad. There's a lot of normal people who work here. And then his friends sold him out faster than you could blink when he said something against the narrative on Twitter. And they all fucking turned on him, and daggers just flew into the back. So, you know, you're not going to convince me because I've worked there. So I know there are some nice people, but they have to turn off the nice part when it comes to competing, because it's fucking dog eat dog, man. It's dog eat dog. And it's not based on your talent. It's based on your gift of kissing ass and knowing the right politics and knowing the right people. And I found out very quick when a guy was willing to fuck me over for a temporary $17 an hour job chaptering iTunes movies. I shit you not. I've told that story before. I was working the night shift. This guy was working the day shift. He was convinced I wanted his day shift job. No matter how many times I said, no, I really like working the night shift. I prefer it. There's less people here and I can just focus on the work. It's pretty easy and mundane. But I'd always come to work the next day and my chapters were fucked up and they would get fucking mad. Rightly so. And I'm like, I don't know how this happened because when I left, everything was right. And they started not believing me. Well, fucking insecure asshole was going in and fucking up my work. And I thought I was going crazy. I thought, man, I really suck at this. I thought I was doing everything right, and I really suck at this. And then I found out. I found out right at the end that he was fucking up my work. And the fucked up thing is some people knew it and didn't say anything because they were too afraid to lose their job. That was a lesson I learned. And the thing is, that guy, he ended up, he wanted that job so bad so he could work in Hollywood, ended up going nowhere. You want to know why? Because he was envious. He was petty. But man, that was a good lesson. I'm so happy I learned that lesson. I was upset at the time, but I ended up getting a better job out of it and learning that, never doubt yourself when you see something wrong. And I should have spoke up sooner, but I didn't. And also not be so willing to, that's when I'm like, oh, I ain't trusting anybody here anymore. There's no way. I'm not trusting a single person here. I'll watch my own back. Gerald Armstrong donated $5. Says, Gary, I got some Disney stock. Should I hold long-term or dump it? I don't know what your other stock is. I would recommend you buy Tesla stock. That's the only stock I really know anything about. I've had Tesla stock by accident for the last 6 years, and it's been fucking amazing. Amazing. When I got it, it was right around $300 a share. I bought in when they didn't get the Model 3s out in time. They took a big hit. I got in then, and it's been way up since then. So I would just shift it. If you can. Put it into Tesla. Tesla will perform much better than Disney. I think that's pretty easy to figure out. Personally, though, I don't mess around with stock. I like tangible stuff. You know what? If you got enough money, I don't know how much stock you have, take that stock, and if you've got a lot, invest it into an Amazing Fantasy 15. First appearance of Spider-Man. That'll do well. It's so weird how this thing comes in. Okay, Man of War 665, the neighbor of the beast. Gary, according to recommendation of possibly having Kisamir Ubrensky, I don't even know, RBG pundit, as a I have no idea who this is. So it's an RPG guy, and his name is Casimir, as a pundit for a possibility for Friday Night Tights. Sent you an email with the link to sample one of his roasts of SJW collaborators in the RPG hobby. My thanks to the original Super Chatters for the tip. SC reviews, maybe. I'll check it out. I not really into RPG at all, but I'll check it out for sure. Thanks, Man of War. Gary, not trying to stir up anything, but curious of your thoughts on Doomcock's rumors. He often feels wrong. Does he have legit sources? Feels fake, says the Invisible Man for $5. I have no idea who his sources are. I believe he has sources. I've been pretty open about it. I don't believe all the rumors. No, I don't. They sound they sound like the kind of thing you would want to hear. And I would be very suspicious of that. Now, Doomcock is free to do what he wants with his channel. That's his prerogative. I've never been against running with rumors if that's going to be your thing. The reason I don't run, I just don't want to be reliant on them. Because if I became a rumor channel, then that's all I'd have to do. I'd have to keep doing rumors and rumors and rumors, and I just don't want to do that. I'd rather that ties you to a subject. That's like doing your channel on just Star Wars. It ties you to this one thing, and I want to be free to talk about whatever the hell I want, really, as far as entertainment is concerned. So that's why I don't run with a lot of that stuff. People fed me information. I still get once in a while, but not much, because I made it pretty clear I'm not going to run with this stuff. And yeah, we'll talk about a recent one specifically. Gina Carano possibly getting rehired, and that this news was leaked to save her job. Well, if that's the case, then it was the biggest mistake out there, because the news was leaked, and I'm not angry. I'm angry that they, fired her in the middle of the night. But the worst part about it was what they added on, saying that her behavior, I'm paraphrasing, was abhorrent. That was running the bus over your employee and then backing over her and trying to make her unemployable in this town, which Disney pretty much did. They blacklisted her. Now, could some rebel studio hire her and say, fuck Disney? Yes, and I would hope they did that. But that was, it was fucking mean. It was fucking mean. It was vindictive. It was petty, unprofessional. That was some fucked up shit, what they did. So that's what I want everyone to remember. They didn't just fire her. They lied about her. They lied. They said she was offensive to religious groups. When? Show receipts, Disney. Is it perceived offended or actually offended? Because there has to be facts behind your statements. But I guess not. I guess billion-dollar corporations can now lie about their employees. And honestly, yes, it can be formed about as an opinion. But I think that comes real close to being suable. But the thing is now, and what sucks is they're going to have to change some rules, because it's becoming too difficult to sue these monolith corporations. They can literally come down from on high and steal your work and just outspend you. So unfortunately, there's going to have to be some legislation out there that needs to even the playing field a little bit. And I fucking hate saying that, because I hate fucking laws and taxes and shit, but it's getting out of control. You want to talk about regulation? Yeah. When you have Kurtzman, in my opinion, quite obviously stealing from somebody and getting away with it because they outspended it. Spend that person. Thank you for the F's in the chat. I bless you guys in the chat. Love you guys. But Disney could come and do whatever the fuck they want now, and you can't sue them. You can't. They will spend you into oblivion. And man, I almost want to throw up a little bit in my mouth by saying there needs to be a law. It'll probably be a fucked up law. But I was like saying, if we lived in a perfect world where lawmakers actually gave a shit about people, yes, there needs to be something to even the playing field, so a little guy can at least stand a chance in court when a company does take advantage. And I do understand there's a lot of people out there who bullshit and say they stole stuff when they did. That I understand that. I do. But the Invisible Man, no, the rumor thing is it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away, and it's just up to you what you want to believe. Here's what I believe based on pure speculation. Pure speculation based on my life experience, working there for like a minute in Hollywood, covering pop culture for a long time, knowing a little bit about ego and understanding that everything in Hollywood has to be looked at through the lens of identity politics. I don't think they're that divided. I think they might have a different vision where they want to take Star Wars, and I think Kathleen Kennedy is perfectly okay with both visions existing in the same world because she doesn't really care about Star Wars. She's like, yeah, I do your woke stuff. You do your 50-year-old fanboy stuff, and I'll take all the credit when things are great. I won't say anything when things are shitty, and I'll leave when I'm damn good and ready. But she's already failed. Disney's got a giant mess on their hands. For a brief moment, they had the fandom together, but for the most part, it's been divided. It's been a shit show. Disney Star Wars, since owning Star Wars, has been a shit show. And people go, but the $2 billion in The Force Awakens, that's a long time ago. That is a long time ago. Mandalorian. It didn't really make them any money until they started making Baby Yoda toys. The only thing the Mandalorian has done to make Disney profitable was the merchandise, because it's on a streaming service that won't be profitable for 5 years. They're living off of borrowed money right now. I mean, they need the streaming service as a revenue, so as a source of revenue, but they're not making money off of Disney World. The Shanghai Resort, they don't even own the majority of the Shanghai Resort. You know that? It's China. China owns the majority of the Shanghai Resort. They're not making any money in Disneyland France. Disneyland here in California is not going to be open probably for the rest of the fucking year at this point. So yeah, they got a massive problem on their hand. And the one thing they got going, the MCU, this is going to affect that too. To what effect? Probably, maybe 1%, maybe 0.5%. Nothing noticeable, but it will affect it. And it goes on and on and on. I think there's people who want to love Star Wars. There's people who just want to love it. And they need to rationalize it in their head because they're watching all this horrible behavior, but they're like, I still want to love my thing. And that's a personal decision on how you do that. We're in an era where separating the art from the artist is becoming harder, and it will be impossible unless an artist stays the fuck off of social media, or they just go on Instagram and they post pictures of their puppy all day, which I highly recommend everybody in Hollywood do. Interact only positively with your fandom and post pictures of your puppies, and you'll be fine. But if you start giving your opinion on anything, well, it better be the official authoritative opinion, because only authoritative opinions matter from authoritative sources or authoritative opinions. But no, the rumor stuff. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it doesn't really affect me negatively at all. I don't think. I mean, other than I get confused with it. Some people start bringing my name up there, and it's like, no, I don't report on anything Star Wars other than I'll talk about it. Yeah. The only thing I know is Gina found out when we did, and they don't have a plan at all for fucking what they're going to do. They don't have a plan. They have an idea, but there is no plan with what they're going to do with The Mandalorian and all these shows. They're just fucking winging it like they have been. Hail Gary from the frozen lands of Houston, Texas, says Adrian Barrera. Hail! And I guess there was hail and snow in Texas. I hope you're all okay. It was very, very cold. Yeah, it's really cold here. It's like 63. It's terrible. Politics ruins everything, and identity politics ruins absolutely everything. How do we come back? Start creating alternatives to these products? Says Josiah Finch, who donated $5. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough with TV shows, but the very intelligent and fucking cool Carrie Smith brought this up last Friday. Yeah, I like Carrie. She's a little pistol. And congratulations on her engagement, by the way. So she brought up that, like, Gina going to Ben Shapiro is tantamount to, like, going to a lot of people going, you know, Kirk Cameron doing just religious films. And you might see it like that. This one's different. She is starting something. She is making it okay to break away from Hollywood. There needs to be a breakaway Hollywood. And it needs to start somewhere. It's not going to succeed at first. And quite frankly, I think if more studios, independent studios, go out there and they tempt the artist to go out and do something for everyone, and they also tempt the artist who might not, you know, believe lockstep in Hollywood, and you create a breakaway Hollywood that takes 20, 30 years to build. It's not, none of this shit's going to happen overnight. You're not going to, Hollywood is going to be the same way they are for the next 5 years. This is a long fight, and it didn't need to be a fight. It sucks that it has to be a fucking fight. Why are we fighting for fucking Star Wars? It's supposed to be a movie, a show, a collection of toys that's there to entertain us and amuse us. It's not there to profoundly change you as a person and lead you on the path of righteousness. Because we are Star Wars. We are from Hollywood. And in between our moments where we're sniffing coke off a hooker's ass and being complete hypocrites, you need to listen to us as we stand on our soapbox and tell you how to live. Go fuck yourself, you empty-headed fuckball. I don't care. I don't care. I really enjoyed it when they repeated lines on a piece of paper and pretended. I think there's a lot of people who pretended really well. There's some people I would even call an actor, like Matthew McConaughey is an actor. That is a gifted actor. I've seen him in so many things where he has, like, moved me with his acting. That is, not everybody can do that. Most people are a bunch of vapid, empty-headed, actors who belong on the CW. That's the vast majority of Hollywood. There's very few Matthew McConaughey's out there, or Tom Hardy's. And by all accounts, Matthew McConaughey is pretty cool. So that's good to hear. That's good. So when are they going to come after him? When are they going to come after Chris Pratt? How long did it take to grow your beautiful beard? Says Trent Johnson, donated $3. Why? Thank you. I don't really know. Let's see. I shaved, last time I fully shaved it was at the end of 2018. If you watch my Last Jedi review, I'm a baby-faced boy. I think it took 5 months, 4 months, 5 months. It's about the same amount of time it takes to grow long hair, for your hair to start getting long. About the 6 month point, and then you get to a year. Yeah, but the in-between stage of getting your hair long is a pain in the ass, and your beard, it's fine. It just gets longer. Gary, Disney World has a Tom Sawyer Island. One of the boats to take you to the island is called the Injun Joe, guy from the books. Yes, Disney has that in a park, but Gina can't say good things. And F off people that say she made a mistake. She didn't. No, she didn't make a mistake. No. I'll say, was it graceful? I don't know. That's debatable. But no, I completely understood what she said. I'm not offended by it at all. I'm not offended at all. As a matter of fact, being offended by something like that perpetuates this pearl-clutching fucking culture we're having. Saying, oh, we can't make analogies. Fuck you. I'll make whatever fucking analogy I want. I'm sorry, you don't make rules for me. Oh, you can't make analogies about the Holocaust. Well, I guess you can't until the next one happens. Hopefully that won't happen. But you never know. And it doesn't take away from it. It's everybody knows it's awful. I think that's people like to say baseline. That's the baseline on it. It was awful. It was disgusting. It was terrible. It was the worst thing to happen in our recent modern history. We should never forget it. We should learn every detail about it all the time. We should understand and learn constantly how that happened. And we need to never repeat that mistake. Atrocity, genocide. What are your thoughts on Allegiance Arts and their exclusive comics with Walmart? Allegiance Arts. Ray, Jay's World. For $5. Oh, Mitch Breitweiser, right? I know they did a crowdfunding campaign and they sent the books to Walmart first. Bad move. That's what I think. I think it's a very bad move. You take care of the people who financed you first. And if you want to make a Walmart deal, then just make a Walmart deal. But you need to take care of the customers first. That's my opinion on it. I don't know what's come of that, though. But it sounds like it's a DOA, the deal's DOA, because they made that mistake. It's too bad. I would love to see another comic book company getting in with Walmart, and if Walmart actually put something into selling comic books need to be sold everywhere. It's too late for comics, though. Let's be real. Josiah Finch. I read that one already. Oh, I guess I need to scroll. Oh, that's excellent. Giving you money, I'm not giving Disney or Google money, says Vigilante Williamson for $5. What's up, VW? VW is a member of my channel. He is a really good guy. He's got an up-and-coming channel. What do you got? A couple hundred subs, Vigilante. But he's got some, man, his takes are good. VW, you have done something that it took me a long time to do. You have found your voice, dude. Like, it's there. It's definitive. So it's just a matter of time. For the nice... Oh, I read that one already. Okay, I got those. Let's get these over here. And that, I know we've been talking about it all weekend. I get it. I get it. I understand. But we can't let this one die, because this was not a small thing. This was not a small thing. And I was talking to Doomcock about it. I'm like, this is, I understand pop culture's place in my life. I mean, I've got a psychotic looking room. I've got a psychotic collection. Like, this is a 100th of what I have, what you see behind me. It's not, and I've got like this, I can't see myself right now. Hang on. I've got this giant shelf filled with 1/6 scales, that most of them you don't see. And that's a fifth of what I have. But when it comes to like I know when to turn this stuff off and be an adult and go out and vote, pay my bills, pay my taxes, do things with my kid, have conversations with my, adult stuff. I know when to shut it off. It's not like I take it to bed going, Arr! The Gina Carano thing is one of the, I can't think, maybe since Last Jedi, that I went to bed with that in my head. I was like, whoa, that was fucked up. Was I surprised it happened? Not really, but they fucking did it. Because you know what? No, I thought she was unfireable because she's so popular. And they fucking did it. And I'm like, whatever question I had about Disney's direction, I don't have it anymore. And I mean, again, the rumors are going to come out. They're going to continue to come out, and fine, come out. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be needed to show hard, definitive evidence that Disney is going in any direction other than completely woke and intersectional. That's the direction they're going into. And whatever they retcon, say if they retcon something, it'll be woke and intersectional. The Mandalorian was the anomaly. It's an anomaly. It definitely had some intersectionalism in it. I think a lot, like I said earlier, I think a lot of people have been handling it with kid gloves because it did look like Disney was turning around. So quite honestly, we're going, good dog, good doggy, good Disney. Come in this direction. Yes, that's a good boy. But now it's clear that they're not. So those kid gloves are off. Like I talked to Mahler. I was on EFAP last Saturday. Thank you for having me on, Mahler, by the way. I was with Adam Friended. It was good. It was a good time. Told Mahler, watch your the reaction to your Mandalorian stuff completely change. It's going to completely change overnight. Mahler's been getting a lot of shit for being real about, and him and Rags have been getting a lot of shit for being real about the Mandalorian. Turns out they were on the right side of history. My opinion hasn't changed. Again, it's a very average show. It's really not that great. It's not worthy of the praise it gets, but that's the projection people put on the Star Wars brand and how much they want to love it. You know, I was watching Echo Base, good friends Nicholas Glenn and the coach, and they are trying so hard to make Star Wars like a positive place to be. And it can be if you just talk about the old stuff, basically. If you just go back, talk about the EU and the old stuff, it can be. But now anytime brings up, from now until the end of time, somebody brings up something Star Wars, you're always going to have a guy or a gal going, I was into it until they fired Gina Carano. Then fuck this, I'm done with them. Get used to seeing that a lot. Mahler loves Buffy, though. So do I. Guitar Jedi. I fucking love Buffy and Angel. I think Joss Whedon's a piece of crap. But like everything that's coming out about Joss, everybody knew. Like there's nothing new. I knew Michelle Trachtenberg couldn't be alone with him. My wife knew that because they talked about it 20 years ago. It was part of her contract. She wasn't allowed to be alone with anybody. Any male over a certain age. She was allowed to be alone with women. He's always been an asshole. It was pretty obvious. He was screwing. I went to every panel he did. And like, listen, he was flirting so hard with Faith. I'm forgetting the actress's name. Faith. In the Dollhouse. I saw the Dollhouse panel in San Diego. And I thought they were going to like do it right there on the table. I've got video of it, man. They're just like staring at each other with the goo eyes. And Melissa's like, oh my God, are they going to have sex right now? I'm like, well, I said something gross. I won't say it here. I said something gross. She laughed though. So yeah, it's no secret. Charisma Carpenter, the whole pregnancy thing was well known. It's just being brought up again, and all of a sudden everybody's like, we stand behind you, Charisma Carpenter, and da-da-da-da. Yeah, but you didn't then. The showrunner, who could have stood behind them 20 years ago, came out like a coward. Yeah, Elijah Dushku, thank you. No, they're opportunists, man. They're fucking opportunists. And like, listen, Joss Whedon's a dick. He's a dick. He's always been a dick. They've allowed this behavior to go on forever and ever and ever, and it kind of comes with being a creative. And I've got a couple of, it depends on the situation. Personally, there's a way to stop that behavior. You end it. You get in that person's face and go, don't ever talk to me like that again. This is a job. I will do the best I can, but do not ever talk to me like that again. It's that simple. That's how that shit gets squashed. People, I don't feel powerful enough. You need to get to that place. It takes some work. Listen, I wasn't always that way either. I took a lot of shit when I was young, a lot of shit. But then I learned you could stand up for yourself and not get fired. You just make it very clear, very distinctive, set your boundaries. Don't let people fuck with you like that. And it's not cool. It's not cool. But then there's a fair amount of like, sometimes you get yelled at and you're just like, yeah, I had that one coming. Okay. And, just brush it off. But they're coming out going, I had trauma. I had to go to therapy. And it's like, then leave. Again, I mean, if you're going to be in therapy, if it's fucking up your life that much where you're losing sleep and you feel miserable, fucking leave. That's not a fun job. That's not a good job to be at. I could tell you right now, I had more fun at my parts job than I did working at Hollywood. A lot more fun. The guys were cooler. We were always fucking joking all the time. Yeah, it was, it's making more money. I had more fun. Seth donates for $1. This was from 3 days ago. He said, even France thinks we're nuts. Yeah, France thinks we're nuts. That's how bad things are. Any chance you're going to drop some merch? I need a Nerdrotic hat. Take my money. LeBang117, yes. Mrs. Nerdrotic is currently on her way home. That's why I was doing this now, and I got to actually end it very shortly because Mrs. Nerdrotic's on her way back, and I've got a couple of videos to make. But yes, there will be merch. There's going to be Friday Night Tights merch as well. We're working on a shirt, but we got to get Mama home. Mama needs to get home safe. Hopefully she's listening. Get home safe, Mama. Drive safe. I know it's raining. Be careful. Be careful. Who donated $1 here? I can't see it. Why is it covered up? Polaris sucks for 2 Canadian pesos. Do you prefer YouTube or Streamlab donations? F Disney. Streamlab for sure, because it bypasses YouTube completely. But I got to get used to them. I was resisting. Odin's like sitting there going, I fucking told you so. I told you so. Well, he didn't say fucking because he doesn't cuss. But I was very resistant because it's a third-party network, and I'm just paranoid. I didn't want to give them my password. They have total access to my channel. But a lot of people use them. A lot of channels much bigger than me use them. So I guess, all right. I'm a boomer like that. I'm technically not a boomer, folks, by the way. I'm a Gen Xer, but I do boomer things. The Kingslayer for $4.99. Hi, Gary. Why don't you like Return of the Jedi besides the Ewoks? Well, why don't you like Return of the Jedi besides the Ewoks? I like Return of the Jedi a lot. I just don't think it's the worst of the original trilogy. And I think it's half an absolute genius, brilliant, beautiful masterpiece. And it's a sloppy mess because I'm being honest. I still love it, but the desert, the Tatooine scenes on Jabba's barge look awful. And I'm talking about when I saw them in the theater in the first run. The effects were terrible. Terrible. And I thought the Ewoks were kind of lame. Yeah. I mean, that, like, I got used to it and I'm fine with it, but Harrison Ford's acting was shit in it. You could tell, like, he was overacting and yeah. It really did a disservice to Leia and Han being caught by the Ewoks and the joke went on too long. I would have been fine with the Ewoks, but the joke went on too long. And then having the Ewoks defeat the fucking Empire, I was like, But Lando was a fucking boss. Went in, blew up the Death Star. Love that. And the scenes between Palpatine and Luke and Darth, fucking genius. Absolutely. The music was perfect. Everything was perfect. That scene where he's all, your sister. And he's, no! Oh, fuck, man. That just goosebumps, and it was everything you wanted. And then he doesn't fight the Emperor. He chooses not to fight. I was fully expecting him to like fight the Emperor, right? I was like, oh, Luke's going to take out Darth and go fight the Emperor. And he's like, no, I'm done. You'll have to kill me. So be it, Jedi. And it was fucking epic. And Jar Jar Abrams just brought him back to life because he's a fucking creatively bankrupt. Yeah. My friend, I love you, but you might want to spell incompetent correctly in your title if you're going to talk about LFL's incompetence. I probably should. I thought I did, though. Hang on. There we go. Oh, I can talk about incompetence all day and misspell it. I don't give a shit. I'm not the $1 billion corporation. Oh. Hang on. How is it misspelled? It's not misspelled, Will. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I was like, ugh. I copy and pasted it from the internet to make sure I'd misspell it, and I still misspelled it. That's hilarious. See? Yep, totally incompetent, dude. But I can call out Disney Star Wars incompetence because I wouldn't do something like, I don't know, fire Az from Friday Night Tights because he said something that I don't like. Or fire Jeremy. I might not be able to spell, but I know how to fucking hire people and be funny. Thor Odinson for $9.99. Favreau Filoni, have you, but thanks for letting me know, Will, in a super chat. At least somebody told me. And see, Will is a good friend because he will tell you that there's a booger hanging off your nose. That's the kind of friend you want. You want it like, dude, you got a giant fucking booger hanging out of your nose. And nobody's told you for the last 2 hours. Thor Odinson for $9.99. Favreau Filoni have to get Gina back. Otherwise, they're asking for the woke mob to cancel Burr and Rosario. They've lost Rangers of the New Republic. They're in danger of losing Ahsoka, too. Thor, yeah, are they going to go over after Rosario? Well, they're not going to go after Rosario as hard as they did Gina, because Rosario is going to bend the knee. She's going to be a good little compliant system dweller. That's what she's going to be. But she's still going to have people irrationally coming after him. And like, Disney's listening to people you shouldn't listen to. For the most part, these are, here's my guess. Most of the people tweeting all day, if they have time to tweet all day, they either live with their parents, they're out of work, they get some kind of assistance, they're trolling. I mean, there's a certain percentage who actually are just there to fuck with people. There's a certain percentage of there who are lonely and need the attention. I mean, there's a lot of, it's actually really sad. It's really sad that there's that many people in America, in a country where you can go out there and do whatever the fuck you want, right? And they're wasting it. They're fucking wasting it. And it's, it really is sad. There's a lot of parents who didn't pay attention to their kids. But no, I think, yeah, I'd be interested. Bill Burr probably doesn't give a shit. I think Bill Burr's the kind of guy, I don't mean this is disrespectful, but I don't think he gives a shit about Gina Carano. I think he's looking out for himself. But I wonder, he'll be asked about it. I wonder what he'll have to say. I bet you we'll get the truth, but I don't think he cares enough to give up his job. Rosario, I think, will be compliant. The only thing I wonder is how much, if Jon Favreau is what everybody says he is, he can't be happy about this situation. They just pissed off their number one creative talent. Or Jon Favreau completely agrees with Disney and is glad she's gone. Until I see differently, think it's Jon Favreau's completely in line with Disney and glad she is gone. I think we have projected a lot onto Jon Favreau, like he's this good guy, and like everything he's done. I haven't liked everything he's done, but I think he's cool. I've always liked Jon Favreau for a long, long time before he even touched Iron Man. When I found out he was going to be directing Iron Man, I was fucking through the roof. I was so happy. But it'd be a punk rock fucking move. Leaving. Even if you didn't agree with Gina Carano. Because what Disney did is dangerous. And if some actors came out against it and left the show and forced Disney to come out and apologize and reverse their decision, the world would be a better place. This inaction by people who work there is just going to guarantee somebody else is going to get canceled, and now you've just made the problem infinitely worse, like I said in my video. And Ahsoka Tano, I can tell you what, doesn't move the needle for me at all. I don't care about Ahsoka Tano. I know she's got her fans, and you enjoy her, and that's great. But as far as I'm concerned, I am a Star Wars, a normie, a movie fan. And she wasn't mentioned in a single film. So she exists in side stories only. And she's one of the better female characters, but so was Cara Dune and Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan. I like Katie Sackhoff. Been a while since I could catch a nooner. Only bonus so far from getting a vasectomy. Oh my God. Why, Spork? How old are you, buddy? Oh yeah. I guess, hey, good for you for getting that. That's good. I would never let him touch me now. Hell no. Hell no. But it's good to see you here, man. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Been a long time. Darth Mick for $5. All of Disney's old stuff is not original either. Cinderella, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. They didn't invent any of these things. That's true. I mean, Tron is theirs. The Black Hole. Yeah, they invented their style. And Disneyland and Disney World. And, Mickey is theirs. I think, unless they stole that from somebody too. Maybe they did, and I'm not aware of it. Yeah, they just gobble things up, and that's why I said they're too big to succeed. The stuff will be popular, it will do well, but it'll never be cool. Disney bought Star Wars to have George Lucas's Star Wars. They wanted to surpass what George had done. They didn't buy it to just repeat what he had done. They wanted to make their own thing and surpass it. They wanted to make rides, and they did it. And it's a total failure, absolute failure. Star Wars being a mediocre success is a failure. It's the biggest IP in the world to a lot of people. We need to get one of those jars for Lucas's head, because the moment he dies, they'll definitely remake it. Oh, Storyman Jack. Oh, for the original trilogy? Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes. I can't. George's going to live forever, though. I don't want to think about him passing. Dan C for $5. Remember the days when you saw Lucasfilm at the start of a movie and it made you feel good? Yes, I do. Listen, I'm a big, huge, massive Indiana Jones fan. Right? Like, I like it. Well, I don't like Star Wars at all anymore, but I still like Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the greatest films ever made, and I certainly like the 2 sequels. Last Crusade is number 2. Temple of Doom is I like it more than I like it, but there's a dumb scene in it that I hate. The raft getting out of the plane. I hated that scene when I was a kid, and I hate it now. But I like the soundtrack, and I love the movie. For most part, I love the movie. But when I see, I'm sour on the new one. I don't think it's going to be good. And the last one sucked. Crystal Skull sucked. Adios Disney Plus, says Brian Vaca for $5. Yep. There's ways to see this stuff. And again, there's ways to keep that you don't have to pay for it. If somebody else is paying for it, they could just share the password. VPNs work too. It's legal. I would never tell anybody to pirate. It is wrong. It is wrong. But you know what else is wrong? Firing somebody in the middle of the night and besmirching their character so they can't get any more work. When you hear all this shit about punching down, don't you think what Disney did to Gina was punching down? I mean, how a billion-dollar corporation comes bearing down on you, and there's little simps out there rooting it on. You go, billion-dollar corporation. You take out that individual who just had opinions on stuff. How dare she have opinion? We believe in strong women, the ones who agree with us. And she's supposed to be everything. I thought the farce was female. You know what? The farce is female. The farce is female. And her name is Kathleen fucking Kennedy. I never believed there was a civil war at Lucasfilm. The cancer is embedded in the walls and stems from Kathleen Kennedy. Favreau is just a hired gun. F Lucasfilm and Disney. RS for $4.99. Favreau is just a hired gun. That's all he is. And whatever, I thought he had more power than this. If Favreau wanted Gina to stay, she'd still be there. All he'd have to do is say, I go with her. If she goes, I go. They wouldn't get rid of Favreau. Or maybe they would. I predicted that you're going to hear Favreau's going to quit. That's going to be the next one. I don't know. Mike Zero might have already said it. Favreau's going to quit. He ain't going to fucking quit. He ain't going to quit. Not now. No, the opportunity to do something and say something to reverse this decision has passed. Everybody has spoken with their silence, and Gina was kicked out of the cool kids section or table or whatever. And good. She's free. Big Worm for $10. Hail, Gary. How can I read all of the X-Men comics chronologically without spending a fortune? I covet your love for comics and want to give it a shot with you about enthusiasm. Read Gina. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Marvel Unlimited, I believe, would be your best start. I don't know how far they go back. You could also, hang on. I'm going to look something up real quick. There is a CD-ROM of X-Men 1 through 500. I don't know how much it's worth. I have it personally. They are all PDFs. It's a raw PDF. So you could, if you have a CD player still, you could just download the PDFs, and you'll have issues 1 through 500 of Uncanny X-Men chronologically. I don't know if they did the X-Men. I think they did. It's pretty hard. Oh, it's not even on eBay right now. It was a fortune the last time I saw. The last time I saw it, it was like $300 or $400. There's also a way you can find that I can't say, but I really enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one. That is one of my favorite Disney movies, and I guess that's original, right? Because it was my favorite ride forever until they fucking changed it and made it PC. And you should have known that. We should have known then that Disney. See, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride is shit now compared to what it used to be. I like the Johnny Depp stuff in there, but I really like Pirates of the Caribbean because they go to Tortuga. They go to Tortuga. So there's that movie. Oh, okay, yeah. So there's other ways to find X-Men 1 through 500, CD-ROM, PDFs, and you can read all of them. All of them. I do like Pirates of the Caribbean, though. Johnny fucking... did he not get nominated for Best Actor for that? Or was it... Did they get nominated for Best Picture? I can't remember. That's a good fucking movie, man. Then they killed the fucking Kraken off screen. Do you believe that shit? But no, Mrs. Nerdrotic and I watched that movie 5 or 6 times in the theater. We loved it so much. When will Disney... Oh, here is Jane Theory. Jane Theory is... Oh my gosh, she's got a great voice, like actual voice, and one of the good level-headed people voices in our sphere. Check her channel out, Jane Theory, for $5. When will Disney learn what they actually do, that they do need fans to survive? How much more money must they lose? They haven't lost enough yet, Jane, because they've been propped up artificially by their loans and the PPP and whatever government assistance that they've been able to swindle and steal from small businesses, which they've actually done, folks. You want to talk about abhorrent behavior? Disney has done plenty of it under Bob Iger. When will they learn? As always, Jane, when it's far too late. And it's going to take time. But the new king of entertainment is Silicon Valley and Netflix and Amazon. And people can call, the only thing that might kill Netflix is their binge model. Their binge model might be their undoing. But nobody can beat... Amazon's already won because they're $1 trillion company and they can do whatever they want. They could buy Disney. Kit Kat for 20 pounds. Every success to Gina in her new film project, The Daily Wire. This is the future of pop culture, independent publishing and film making marketed on the internet. This sort of thing will grow and expand. Yes, and it's going to take time. It's just going to take time. It is. Hey, did I get ghosted? Does anybody out there know if I got ghosted or not? I wasn't paying attention or not. Or it doesn't seem like it. Every stream was getting ghosted for a while there. The way I'm feeling, by the way, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you to the Modrotics. Thank you, anybody taking the time. Thanks to the people who can't stand me out there who are watching anyway. I appreciate the click, and I truly want you to be well. I do. The way I'm feeling, I just want The Mandalorian to get nuked so we finally scrap Star Wars forever. It's dead. It's done. May it rest in peace. The Opposition HQ for 5 pounds. Yeah, they can keep making it or scrap it. I care not. I care not. The Black Saber, they can stick it up their sphincter because I care not. I don't care who gets it. Bo-Katan could beat the crap out of the Mandalorian, and she probably will, and I don't care. Agent May is going to be Boba Fett's protector, and Boba Fett's going to be Agent May's girlfriend in the new show. I don't care. I don't care. What it's going to be is the Boba Fett one will be a lot like the Mandalorian. They're going to go to town and run across Bosk. And Bosk is going to have a wife and kids. And there's a monster in Bosk's backyard that Boba Fett needs to take out to save his old friend and his family. And him and May enlist the help of their neighbors who Bosk has been arguing with. But then they'll defeat the monster and everybody will be happy. That's basically what it's going to be. And then the next episode will be IG-88. And then we'll get to Dengar. Maybe Dengar's wounds will have healed by then. We don't know. Just Nova for $4.99. Hey, Gary, hope all is good. Has Hollywood and Disney always been this tribal? And is it because of social media we now see behind the curtain? It is the latter. We now see behind the curtain. It's always been this way. Hollywood is obviously it's a town based on illusion. When the camera's on or when it's off, it's all an illusion. That's why I call them adult pretenders. It's not for when they're actually working and acting. It's all the other times. JWT for 6577. JWT is 6577 for $5. This is why I am thankful for the prequels. They may not be great, but episode 3 closed the book enough for me as a fan to put Star Wars away. Yep. Oh, yeah. You don't need Star Wars. You don't need any of it. Maybe that's what we need to remind them. They need us, but we don't need them. I don't need Disney in my life at all. I've lived without it. The occasional trip to Disneyland was pretty much anything I was, until they bought Marvel and fucking Star Wars. I wasn't giving them shit. Because I didn't like, I haven't seen The Lion King. Never saw it. Never will. Because when it came out, I was in my mid-20s. So I was a grown-ass man. And I was single. And I wasn't going to go see some Disney cartoon. I was way too busy watching Pulp Fiction over and over again. Or Romeo is Bleeding. Or Leon the Professional. Or The Fifth Element. I heard Drinker did a review on The Fifth Element. If you love Indiana Jones, a great game to check out is Uncharted. Personally, the fourth one is the perfect one for me. Also, I'm glad Daily Wire came to help. Says, I'm not your buddy, guy, for $5. Yeah, I'll have to check out Uncharted. A lot of people have told me that. I love Indiana Jones. I do. At least Cobra Kai is the opposite franchise of what Star Wars is going through right now. Wild Man Beyond for $5. Yeah, Cobra Kai is it. It is the lone show in the desert of creative bankruptcy. And if somebody would have told you that, like, you know what the best show out there right now is it's a sequel to The Karate Kid without Pat Morita. And you're like, shut the fuck up. You mean the blonde guy? Yeah, William Zabka, the Equalizer's kid. Yeah. Best thing out there, by far. Like, not even close. Cobra Kai. Oh, I love it so much. Season 3 was good. I thought season 3 was good. Gary, who's more responsible, Ben Shapiro or Gina, for not getting canceled? She stood up to them, but only has stable footing to continue because of Ben. Well, it's not Ben, it's his company. No, okay. I don't know where you're going with the argument. To be honest with you, are you trying to say that it's actually Ben that stood up to cancel culture and not Gina? No, because we don't know what happened, for one. One thing I suspect happened was they said Gina You need to stop it and you need to apologize. And she said, no. Or they knew she wouldn't. I'm sure they insinuated to her at some point she needs to stop. And she didn't. And she didn't need to stop at all. Because her co-stars, her co-workers, one of her co-workers is literally a racist. Is literally a racist out there disparaging a race of people constantly on the internet. And that makes you a racist. Even if you are married to a white guy and have half white children, doesn't matter. You're still being racist. And I don't care if it's not genuine, because I doubt it is. I think Christine Ariel is a poser. What makes me think that? This is going to be a hot take that I don't think a lot of people are going to like. But I'm going to say it anyway, because I don't hold back. Most cosplayers are posers. They're absolute posers. Now, there's some genuine. It's a small percentage. Most cosplayers that I see are models, actresses, strippers, trying to get attention and using what's hot right now, which is the nerd community. I've been around for a long, long time. I've known a lot of cosplayers, and the vast majority of them are posers. Doesn't mean they can't exist. They certainly have their place. But when they started showing up in numbers at Comic-Con, that's when shit started going south. So, yeah. So Christina Ariel is an actress and a cosplayer, and she's a fucking poser. So, of course, she's like, ooh, what's the temperature of this room? Oh, white people are bad? Okay. That's going to get me attention. She knows how to get attention, and it got her a job. But then Disney backs that shit up. So no, Gina should not have stopped. She did nothing wrong. She said nothing wrong. And if anybody keeps going out there, oh, you can't make analogies about the Holocaust. Every time you say that, of course, then you make it harder to do it. Listen, the Holocaust happened. It was fucking awful. And you can make analogies for it. Guess what? People were quite freely making jokes about it. And I bet you, edgelords like James Gunn were making jokes about it back when edgelord jokes were the thing on Twitter back in 2012. Remember Polly the polar bear? I do. Yeah, when little edgelords were trying to be edgelordy. Yeah, that was a thing. That was definitely a thing. There were one or two jokes about the Holocaust. And yeah, again, I think you should be able to make those jokes. I wouldn't it doesn't mean you have to like them, but you should be able to make them, because we live in a free society, and free speech is free speech, and free expression is free expression. Now, I wouldn't do it at work. I don't think that's advisable. Hey, Gary. I already read that one. Will the Emperor return again in the next Star Wars trilogy? Dan C for £5. Well, yes. I mean, it's his trilogy now. That's confirmed without a doubt. It's the Palpatine trilogy. Peter Ford. What's up, Peter Ford? For $4.99. Good to see you, my friend. Dumb Disney Star Wars wasted the best character in decades. A Force-sensitive stormtrooper ruined by Rian, rereading the EU for solace. Good for you. And you're right. Finn was easily the most interesting character. Easily. It's the first thing we saw in the trailer. I think it was an interesting move to put a black guy in a stormtrooper costume to kind of blow the lid off that. And I think that it's created a ton of questions. And I thought it was fucking cool. I did. I thought The Force Awakens was going to be good. I thought JJ at the time thought he was the right guy. I did. I thought Kathleen Kennedy was the right gal. Thought Disney was the right place. Then I saw the movie. And I went, oh. And there was no... I questioned it a little bit. Like, I knew I didn't like it. But at the time, I just thought my taste had moved. I'm like, maybe my taste isn't good anymore. Maybe I've lost it. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm just not getting this. because God, that sucked, and everybody's loving it. And I felt like I was taking crazy pills. But then I found you guys. Judge Lot for $25. Hail, Gary. I love your channel and love your analysis. I found you back in August thanks to a shout out from Unsafe Space. Keep up the great work. Why, thank you, Judge Lot, for $25. I appreciate that. I love Carrie Smith. I love Unsafe Space. We just had her on Friday Night Tide. She's brilliant. And Carter too. Voxis Productions for £5. Invest in Doge coins because invest in Doge coins, but failing that Gina Carano action figures. Huh. No need to thank me when you're a millionaire when you cash in that plastic crap. Invest in Doge coins. I don't know if one of the figures, for one, Voxis Productions. Action figures are not plastic crap. No. They are an art form to me. I love action figures. I do. And where'd it go? Oh, it's back there. I bought a bunch of, I didn't buy those Gina Carano action figures. I got one recently, but I bought a bunch already. I already had them. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have people send them to me, but I went out and bought them. So I have plenty. But as far as investing, you keep your Dogecoin and I'll keep my Amazing Fantasy 15s. Thanks. I don't know if I'm sorry. I can't do crypto. I can't do it. That's for you guys. I'm too old for this shit. I'm going to stick with my paper money for the rest of my life. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing okay. Unless I can't sell my house in San Francisco, then I'm completely fucked. But I'm not too worried about that. More awesome metal for £5. Speaking of Cobra Kai, have you seen the Dark Crystal prequel series they made on Netflix? I found it awesome too. I did like it a little bit, but I think it's just, I don't know. Dark Crystal was something I enjoyed as a teenager. I love the soundtrack by Trevor Jones, who's passed. But I just it didn't click with me. It didn't. And I wanted it to because I like Jim Henson Productions. And I wanted it to succeed because I thought it might have helped get some more Farscape, but I don't think I want anything made these days. I'll check it out again though. But I did watch the first couple episodes and I had every intention of going back and I never did. Thoughts on the old read-along adventures? Read-along. Oh, Mr. Reborn for 20 Danish Krona. The comic book read-along adventures. Fucking lived on those things, dude. Power Records? Oh my God. I own them all. I have them all. I have one in my comic rack behind me. I have the Man-Thing one. Yeah, I loved those read-along adventures. Those were my, that was my audio adventures. That was my DVDs, my Blu-rays back then. How bad is the writing when Finn, Poe, and Phasma are in order of magnitude more interesting than the two alleged main characters? Pretty bad. The thing that should not be for $5. Pretty fucking bad, to be honest with you. Dunkma. Is that how I say that? For 50 Canadian pesos. Hey, Gary, here's some coin for a couple of cups of coffee for you and Mrs. Nerdrotic. And also check out the publisher Abaze. They are Abaze. It's called Abaze. They are putting out Conan comics named the Sumerian. And they are very true to Robert E. Howard original content. I will check it out. I'll definitely check that out. If it's Conan, I'm on it, baby. I'm on it. All right, folks. I've got to make a video. I've got videos to make. I've got to ditch Mrs. Nerdrotic's coming back. Square Up Part 2 will be out Wednesday morning before I've got the Square Ups for the previous weeks already recorded. It's in 2 parts, and you're going to get one Wednesday morning and the other Friday morning, because I never leave a super chat behind. I might have to get to it later, but I don't leave them behind. I read every single one, and they're lots of fun. I think the gameplay on these two, I think I'm going to continue The Witcher, and then we're going to do, I think, Arkham Asylum in the next one. Little Arkham Asylum. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I didn't talk about fucking... The Snyder Cut trailer was cool. It was fucking cool. I liked it. I love Joker's new look. I want it to be successful for the Snyder Cut fans. Even the ones who say that Man of Steel is better than the Donner Superman. I mean, you don't need to say that. You could say, I like Man of Steel. But Man of Steel is, I mean, objectively not better than the Donner Superman in every way, shape, or form. The music's better. The catering was better. The director is better. I like Zack Snyder, but he's no fucking Richard Donner. Come on, please stop. Henry Cavill's a great Superman. I love Zack Snyder as a director. I would love to see him take on The Dark Knight Returns, like a legit. I would love to see it as a TV series, to be honest with you. Have Zack Snyder do a 10-part Dark Knight Returns. That would be the shit. I would love it. Love it. So I hope it's good. We'll find out in less than a month. I have a trailer reaction on Nerdrotic Daily. And WandaVision, nothing fucking happened. I like Pietro, but I'll be honest with you, my enthusiasm for the show was affected by the Gina Carano thing. Greatly affected. So I will see you guys on Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'll start on time. I apologize, 11 a.m.-ish. And I've got a Batwoman video and maybe a Star Wars video. I don't know if I want it, but it might be just like, fuck Star Wars. So, Gina, if you're out there, I wish you all the best. You're going to land on your feet. Your career is going to probably not go where you thought at first, but that's what life does. Had no idea I'd be doing shit like this a few years ago, or even a couple of years ago. So I think the sky's the limit. I think you're going to make more money than you ever would have made in Hollywood, and you're going to have your honor intact, your integrity intact, and you're free. I think you're free. And you're one of the toughest people I've ever seen in Hollywood. So I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of all of you for standing up. And I know as Star Wars fans, it's fucked up. You just want to enjoy Star Wars. I get it. I feel bad for you. I do. But you know what? It ain't the fandom who's done this shit. And there'll be other fans out there blaming us. Nope. It was Disney Star Wars. Disney Star Wars brought in the division. Disney Star Wars brought in the identity politics. Disney Star Wars decided to side with some employees over another. Disney Star Wars was hypocritical. Disney Star Wars is the one who put a knife in Gina's back. Disney Star Wars is where the cowards work who didn't defend Gina, including Jon Favreau. Looking at you, dude. Have a lot of respect for you. Thought you were cool. Kind of losing it now. And I don't want to hear behind the scenes, Jon Favreau was upset with this. Jon Favreau's a millionaire. Jon Favreau never has to work another day in his life. And he knows his show is fucked now. His show was going to go like this, but now, And they had to pull out all the stops to get interested. You had to bring back Luke fucking Skywalker and CGI a face on him. That's not something they can do. They can't make a TV show with the CGI Luke Skywalker. They'd have to recast him, and then it's not Luke Skywalker. So on that note, I'm going to run. I doubt this will be the last we talk about it. I do believe it's BB&C tomorrow at 10 a.m. And have a great day. Thank you to Nerdrotics. Remember, not all who wander are lost. Oh, and thank you to everyone who has donated and super chat and support the show. Without you, my lights wouldn't be on. If you haven't heard, my wife lost her business. So without you, we would have been completely fucked. I will never be able to express my gratitude. Hopefully one day I can meet you all, and when we can go outside and I'll run around the country and we'll do meetups and stuff. And we will definitely someday do a real Vegas trip where I will feed you and entertain you for a weekend. I mean, you have to put yourself up, but I'll feed you. We'll have a good time. So until then, ciao.
Nerdrotic.com.
FYI, we're updating the members list. It has grown quite a bit. So I know many of you are looking for your name there. We will have that worked out next couple weeks, I think. Don't forget, as Heel vs. Babyface, 10 a.m. Bagging, boarding, and chatting. I'm going to be bagging and boarding some Ghost Rider. Showing off some Friday Night Tights, we got Lauren Chen. Great Lauren Chen. Along with the lads. Probably play some more Tom McDonald. Maybe we'll start getting musical guests. I don't know. And we might hear from Dr. Az. We might hear from Dr. Az with some 1/6 scale sex ed.
I'll eat your ass. I will. I will eat your ass.
You know, times are changing. Ladies can do stuff now.
What? Were you saying something? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
Where's the trigger? Where is it? You never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is